Good evening and welcome to Tony's Tech Talk, episode 24, recorded on July 14th, 2014. I'm Tony Hannity's, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about, and it's only Monday. But before we do that, I do want to give out information on how to get in contact with us. If you so want to email us, you can email us at comments@lazytechguys.com, or best yet, let us hear your voice literally at 707-722-5299 or 707-722-LAZY. That is the main phone number to reach all of the whole crew, including myself. Also, I want to say congratulations to Germany for winning the World Cup of 2014. It's big ups to you guys, and I was rooting for you, and I say to the whole country, but I really mean just the team. But I was rooting for you guys. Not since day one, obviously. I'm going for the United States, but ever since we got kicked out, you were my number 3. So I guess Belgium too. In any event, it was actually a lot of fun, and I do hope that more Americans become a little bit more acclimated to the world of football more than just American football. In any event, go Niners. All right, let's go ahead and get started with tonight's Tech Talk. Okay, so if you are on iOS and you've been seeing a lot of these Android people kind of walking around town doing stuff like this, there might be a few reasons why they're doing that. 1, they're crazy. 2, they're doing some crazy photosphere from with Android, or they're using a really cool augmented reality game called Ingress. Now, Ingress was actually designed by Niantic Studios, which is an in-house startup company within Google, but it's been an augmented reality game where you and a bunch of other people, thousands of people worldwide, are competing on 2 separate teams. And I think the 2 teams, if I'm not mistaken, are either called the Enlightened or the Resistance. And you get to choose a side, and the objective, the goal, is for you and the rest of your teammates to acquire as many portals and as many places to take this energy and to do something with this energy. I'm not quite familiar with what it is. I joined Ingress in beta, and but I was also at the same time when I was a stay-at-home dad, and literally I was stay at home, so I wasn't able to go out and beyond and really take hold of this. I know a lot of people have gotten so into it, they got tattoos all over their bodies with the Ingress logo and everything. In any event, if you've been on iOS and you've been clamoring for this, like, oh, when is this going to come to iOS? Well, today is the day. It's now available on iOS, including the iPhone, iPods, even the iPads, which is kind of funny. I guess you can use it on Android tablets as well. But yeah, so this is a free app for you to download. And like I mentioned, I was a stay-at-home dad, so being in one place isn't the right way to play the game. You physically have to get up and move. So for some of you out there that are looking for a reason to, I don't know, get some exercise, this is a really cool reason to, because it's kind of like taking advantage of geocaching and also just using location-based services, and also gamification, just gamifying it. And you can play against your friends, you can play against and play with your friends, obviously, but I don't see why you wouldn't want to play with it. Now, from a more, I guess, aluminum tinfoil hat kind of thing, yeah, Google's getting mapping data from you. When are they not? Okay, so this is something that's really cool, and I think if you do put some time into it, you will realize that it can be a lot of fun. I was listening to another podcast where one of the hosts mentioned that a lot of his colleagues and friends who are into the game, once they land in a new city, one of the first things that they do is they pull out their phone, start up the Ingress app, and they look for the different portals where they can while they're there, during the time frame of their meeting or whatever it is. So it can be a lot of fun, and I'm sure it can be very, very competitive. And the one thing, I guess 2 things that I would be aware of is your battery life. and your data consumption, because it is gonna eat up some data because you're using the pinging back and forth of your location and everything. But it really shouldn't be that much. So yeah, that's available as a free download. That's a lot of fun. It's very, very cool. Also, in kind of cool news, there was a recent leak related to the Galaxy Note 4. Now, obviously, we don't have that many specifications on the 4 just yet. There are some leaks that are going out there, but we don't know any specificities from Samsung. As normal, it's still kind of far out. We don't expect the Galaxy Note 4 to be announced until IFA, which is around September time. So what we're seeing right now are just kind of bits and pieces of it. But what we have seen was one piece of information from EvLeaks, which was also tweeted out by, I think, Exynos Samsung, which is one of their Twitter accounts. And it's this screenshot here, not this one. This one here. Unlock the future. So in the tweet, it says, security can be improved using features unique to us. And in the picture is basically what looks to be an edge-to-edge phone. It doesn't say anything Samsung on it, but what it does have is a person holding it in their hand and a big eye on the screen and the circular target surrounding the eye, which indicates some sort of, I guess, eye scanner, retina scanner. That is something that we initially thought was going to come out last year. About last year. We heard these rumors that there's going to be some way that they can track your eye movement, and they kind of can. I mean, if you turn it on your Samsung devices and you are on certain websites, it will notice if your eyes start to move downward on a web page, and if it starts to move down, the web page will automatically move up. And that's kind of a cool feature, especially if you are in a reading mode. But it does prove the point that Samsung does have some sort of tracking method and software. And combining this with the security that they've had in the past, this is going to be a big improvement over everything else. Now, Samsung is really big on security, and especially with Samsung Knox, which is their enterprise security. So combining this with that, you can imagine that they're going to be one of the first, I guess, OEMs to have top-notch security on mobile devices. Can it be hacked? Yes, everything can be hacked. But it just makes it that much harder for hackers to get into it. So biometric scanners, biometric readings, which one is better? Is it better to have a retina scanner? Is it better to have a fingerprint scanner? I mean, we already proved that the fingerprint scanner can be hacked as well too. It's not as easy. You need some you need some plaster, and you need to rub your thumb in this kind of weird material, and then they take a copy of that. It just, you piece of tape. It's not like your very simple hack, if you will. It takes a few moments, but this is the same kind of concept. And if this is true, I wouldn't say it's going to give Apple a run for their money in terms of security. It's just really going to push them. I love this kind of stuff because if it's true or not, there is that one engineer at Apple or that one engineer at LG or whoever the other OEMs are and said, we need to step it up a notch because we don't have any security, anything close to that. I don't think LG has anything. But HTC tried the fingerprint scanner with the HTC One Max, and that didn't pan out too well. And so we'll see if that really comes to fruition later on this year. But if it does, I don't know if it's necessarily a feature that is going to make a lot of people buy it, but I think in the enterprise side of it, it's going to have a lot of IT specialists and the higher end or higher up executives a little bit more interested versus having the standard 123 password or the I guess the dot password, the pattern password that is very popular on Android. So we'll keep our eyes out on that, see if there's anything coming out from EvLeaks and this Twitter account, Samsung Exynos, but it'd be pretty cool. Now, if you have tried out the popular app called Secret, this is available on both iOS and Android. This app essentially allows you to send out little well, I guess secret. Now, these could be fun secrets, these could be malicious secrets, these could be secrets about you and your loved ones, or you and somebody else that's not your loved one. And it's kind of cool looking at people's dirty laundry, and ever so often you might want to put something out there, like something about your boss. So you don't want to put on Twitter, you don't want to put on Facebook, and it's less likely that your boss is going to be able to pinpoint that it's you unless you have a very specific way of writing. But in any event, Secret raised a ton of money recently. And also, they actually have some new features, one of which is the new Facebook anonymous sign-on. So Facebook announced anonymous sign-ons a little bit a while back, maybe a couple of months, and we weren't quite sure how anonymous it was, but whatever the case is with that, Secret is going to take advantage of that as well, and they promise that they're never going to take your name, but I don't know why. But they still need your phone number. I really don't know why. But they also have a new feature called Collections. So in the Collections, it's basically, tags, different feeds that you can watch. So these are the popular collections. So let's read some of these. My week-old daughter is passed out on my chest. All my problems have seemingly vanished. That's kind of nice, actually. Let's see something about loss. Anything funny? No, nothing funny. These are kind of bad. These are kind of down. I read one that was kind of funny earlier. Here's one, reflections. I did something today that I should have regretted doing, but I don't. So yeah, these are whatever you want to tell people, and you don't want it coming back to you. Secret is one popular app to do that. Whisper is another popular app that came to Android before Secret did, but I think Secret just tends to be the more popular of the two because it was probably one of the bigger ones. Plus, in the Silicon Valley one, that is kind of where all the other tech nerds kind of gathered, and that's where we've seen like things from Vic Gundotra supposedly was taking up interviews at some other companies, and that's also where we heard rumors of the next Galaxy S5 and things like that. So yeah, so if you want to try it out, it's free to try out. Like I said, you do have to give up your cell phone number to them for whatever reason. If you have a Google Voice account, I think that would be okay, but they need to validate it and everything of that nature. But yeah, go try it out. Now, something non-mobile, something that has nothing to do with cell phones whatsoever, is a plane. And I don't know anything about planes per se, except that they're big, giant metal things, and they got wings, and they go from A to B and B to C. And they're pretty awesome. And one thing right now is that Boeing has a new jet, or not jet, but they have a new passenger liner. It's the 787-9 Dreamliner, and they're testing it out right now. And I don't really know the specifics of the actual Dreamliner itself, but there's this really cool video that's about 3 minutes long, and I recommend you go check it out on The Verge. But if you can see it here on my screen, it does something that you're probably never going to see a normal jet, or I keep saying jet, a plane of this magnitude do. It touches down, and then shortly after that, it goes right back up, and then does a quick spin to the right. I mean, that is crazy. I mean, to think that any jet would do. I mean, aside from a safety measure or something, to think that any plane of that size would do that, it's just insane. So I would recommend you guys to go ahead and check out the whole video on The Verge, or just look it up on YouTube. But it's pretty cool to see some of the maneuvers that it does. It probably would make you kind of throw up, but whatever it is, it's kind of cool. Now, I highly doubt that they would do that in reality, but these pilots are crazy. That's all I got to say. Now, Microsoft had their World Partner Conference, World Partner Event. It was a WPC, I think it was. And Turner got on stage, and Kevin Turner, he's the Microsoft COO. He got on stage, and he did recognize that Microsoft is their products, or rather products and services, really only take about 14% of the market share worldwide. Now, in PC market share, we're 90%. So that's and I say we, but there. 90% of the PC market, and that's understandable, and that's awesome. But you take into account all the different devices, and it's only about 14%. And their mentality now is like, okay, maybe we don't necessarily need to have all the devices out there. Like, not everybody's going to buy Surfaces. Not everybody's going to buy a Windows Phone. And we know this. And it took a while for Microsoft to kind of bite the bullet and admit the reality of the situation. And with that being said, in the keynote, he addressed the fact that they're going to push forward and get more Microsoft products and services on other platforms, which does coincide with what Satya Nadella said last week in that internal memo. So that's really cool, and we've already kind of seen that with Office 365 on the iPad and Office 365 possibly coming officially to the Android tablets and things like that. So that brings joy? No, it just makes me happy because, I do work with the client. I do work with Microsoft to a large degree, and these are all my opinions as a private citizen. But I do like their services, and they're getting a bad rap because, they were the first in this kind of market to be this huge, gargantuan giant, but they started dwindling because innovation wasn't there and things just started faltering, and they were kind of riding on this high horse of, where else are people going to go? Well, people are going to Chromebooks. People are going to Android. People are going to iOS. People are going to OS X, OS 10. So another thing that they mentioned that, we're going to target the lower end markets as well too. And they did announce officially, they didn't go into specifications of it, but they did announce the HP Stream devices, which is going to be a $199 laptop. So it's going to be sub $200 minus, plus tax, of course, which is really just coinciding and attacking the pricing point of the Google Chromebooks. Google Chromebooks are about $200 to $300. They also mentioned two devices from Toshiba and Acer. I don't know the actual name. Oh, here we go. The Acer Spire ES1 is going to be $250. It's going to have a 2.16 gigahertz Intel Celeron processor. Now, I know a lot of you out there are like, oh, Celeron, come on, that's so slow. Yes, but the Chromebooks have Celeron as well too, and depending on what you're doing, Celeron could be just as fast. 500 gigabyte hard drive. You're not seeing that in any Chromebook anymore. 4 gigs of RAM and a 15.6 inch screen. Also on the side of Toshiba, we're looking at a 32 gig SSD. So it is a solid state drive, very light, and also is only 11-inch screen. With regard to HP's $199 laptop, they're also going to be releasing 7 and 8-inch versions of those as well too, which I can imagine is just going to be like little tablets. I don't think that they'll do 7 and 8-inch computers. If they do, it's going to be very interesting to see how they work that out. They didn't really go into the specifications, like I said, of HP, but these are supposed to come out in the holiday season. Which, if you remember last year during the holiday season, Chromebooks beat out PCs far and wide, especially on Amazon. I think Chromebooks were like the #1 top seller on Amazon during Black Friday. And yeah, it really is price. So again, from a private citizen's point of view, I think Chromebooks do good in the world. I think they're very good. I think the idea that you have to be online all the time to do your work and everything isn't necessarily a problem with Chromebooks. And more with the Chromebook operating system, you can be offline. There are going to be some times you're like, oh, I forgot this document. I need to go online. Crap, how do I get online? Whereas, if you store the document to your device, which you can do by default with regular laptops, that's not so much of a problem. Plus Chromebooks, you could store on your Chromebook as well too. So it really depends how you attack it. My opinion on this is if Microsoft really wants these lower end devices to sell well, you got to include Office. I'm sorry. I know how much the Office suites are very important as a cash cow to Microsoft, especially Office 365. And don't get me wrong, 365 is wonderful. If you got on multiple devices, now each user on 365 gets a terabyte of cloud drive storage with OneDrive. It's pretty awesome. Also, like I said, with the iPad apps and the future Android tablet apps, that's all going to work with 365. but it is an annual subscription, and so you can go to Home and Student, which is $140 or $120 depending on where you buy it, or Home and Business is $220 or $200 again depending on where you buy it. But it's an additional cost, and if you're going at the lower end markets for $200 for the HP Stream, that's awesome. But I don't think they want to add an additional $100 or $140 on top of it just to get productivity, where they can just turn around 180 and say, oh, look at the Chromebooks. They have Google Docs, they have Google Sheets, they have Google Drive. You don't get a terabyte, but you get 15 gigs of Google Drive. Oh, and did I mention that at Google I/O they also have native editing for Word, Excel, like right in the email, and you don't have to convert it or reformat it to Google Docs. So that's just my opinion on that, but I hope they make it that much more appealing to the people that are looking at these lower end laptops. So definitely we'll see how that pans out. Before we move on, I do want to thank our one and only sponsor of the show, which is Audible.com. So for all of you watchers, viewers, listeners of the LTG show and Tony's Tech Talk every night, that's 10:30 to 11 on weekdays, except Tuesday, you can get an Audible book for free. We're giving you a 30-day trial if you go to audibletrial.com/lazy, and you can download books that are popular mystery, science fiction, historical, biographies, everything, any genre that you can ever think of. You can play these books on Android, iOS, Windows Phone, MP3 players, whatever your heart's content. If you've ever wanted to read a book but you just don't have the time to do it, this is one of the best ways to do it. And plus, with WhisperSync, some of the books coincide with the Kindle book. So if you're reading a book, let's just say George R.R. Martin's Fire and Ice. So you're reading that, you're like, oh, you know what, I got to go mow the lawn. There's going to be a little link that allows you to switch it to the Audible section, and then from that it'll go from the visual book to the Audible book, and you can mow your lawn and continue listening and reading the book. It's really cool. It's really awesome, and we're giving you guys a whole month to try it out. So go to audibletrial.com/lazy, and we thank them for being a sponsor of the LTG network. So the last thing that I do want to touch on here, actually, let's go ahead and check out the Q&A. If there's any, is there any questions tonight? No questions tonight. Great. All right, at least not right now. Okay. We're actually going through these things a lot quicker. I thought I was going to spend a lot more time. I'll just slow down a little bit. So last thing I want to talk about here is the MakerBot 3D. So if you have seen the MakerBot 3D printers at different trade shows, maybe you've gone to like a Staples and you've seen this weird kind of printer that's printing out this green little tiny vase. You're like, what the hell is that? Those are 3D printers, and MakerBot is, I guess, one of the first ones to be in the consumer market, and they are now going to be available in select stores all across the United States, but mainly in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. But it's still across the United States because Chicago's over there and San Francisco's this way and Los Angeles is down there. So that's cool. And it's going to be around just under $3,000 for a 3D printer, which, considering how much 3D printers used to be, that's a steal. Now, I don't know if this can print in different colors simultaneously. I think it is just one color at a time. The different spools are $25 for a compact printer, replica mini printer. That is, if you want a mini printer, that's going to be just under $1,400. And the MakerBot Digitizer Desktop 3D Scanner would be $799. So you can go to select Home Depots and check this out. For free. I don't know if you can do a whole try before you buy kind of thing, but yeah, go check out your local Home Depot, or just go to homedepot.com and find out which location has it in stock so you can actually see it in person before you jump into it. But it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't say that it's the end-all be-all replacement for, like, if you lose a screw, you can use this and print out a screw. I don't think they're strong enough on these particular printers. I know there are some other 3D printers that can print out scissors, they can print out hammers, they can print out glass frames that aren't brittle. They'll last just as long as normal glass frames that you buy at Lens Crafters. But this is really, really cool because it's going to put 3D printers in the eyes in front of other people that haven't really seen 3D printers on a monthly basis, or they don't think about 3D printing, and they don't even realize that it is a thing. And they're going to go to Home Depot and say, hey, instead of buying all the stuff here at Home Depot, there might be a few little things that I can just build with the 3D printer and just print it out myself. Now, that is going to require them to know a little bit of how to when it comes to the designing of it, and that's a completely different story. I recommend you go to lynda.com, lynda.com, and check out some of the, I guess, some of the tutorials on 3D printing and 3D graphing and 3D modeling and things like that, AutoCADing and stuff, and learn how to do that first before you go ahead and invest in this. Because if you invest in the MakerBot before you do anything else, it might just sit on your desk and like, I don't know what the hell to do. I don't know where to start. So, but it's very, very exciting to see that Staples is selling them. Office Depot has them on display as well. I don't know if you can buy them at Office Depot, but I think you can give Office Depot plans on a USB drive, and then they could print it out for you. It takes a couple hours. But now here you can like physically buy it and try it out too. So that's really, really cool. So big ups to you guys at MakerBot. Good job of getting this in Office Depot and other places. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. That was the show. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, if there's anything that we did not go over and you were like, oh, I really wanted Tony to talk about that because I want to hear his opinion about the, let me know. Hit me up on Google+, Tony Hannity's, or on YouTube, lazytechguys.com, or LazyTechTV is our YouTube channel, or on Twitter, LTGTony. And I'll be happy to answer any and all tech-related questions. And that will be it. You guys have a great evening. Thank you very much for joining. Talk to you later. Bye.